Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome inside the Fan Cave. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Bob Pompeani with you until 11 o'clock tonight. You know the number. It's 412-575-2600. On Twitter, it's at KDPomp. Want to remind you, we have the #1 Cochrane Sports Showdown tonight. That's on after the late news, about 9 minutes late from its normal start time. So at about 11:45 we'll be on. Andrew Filipponi, Chris Muller, and Will Graves will be on the show. We have a lot to get into. Certainly a lot of the topics we'll talk about here. And I want to hear from you at 412-575-2600. We did a show afterwards with Chris Hoke, had a lot of callers. If you didn't get through, call us right now and let us know what you think. In the meantime, what a game it was for This was the most entertaining game and certainly the most important game for the Steelers so far this season. We'll talk about that and what it means with the Ravens coming into town. You've got 4 straight division games coming up, and that means the Steelers have got to do some work. They got the Ravens, the Browns, the Bengals, and then the Browns again. And it all starts next Sunday at 1 o'clock on KDKA with that Ravens game, which was not flexed, by the way. Many thought it could. I thought it was going to be flexed, and it just did not happen. In the meantime, we're also talking about Pitt. They're not ranked this week. They went from 18 to out of the rankings after a home loss last night to Virginia. And quite frankly, it was a very disappointing loss following an embarrassing loss to SMU last week. So what are these Pitt Panthers? 7-0? Did we jump to conclusions that were inaccurate because they had not beaten a ranked team at all? They could have lost a couple of games to West Virginia and Cincinnati, came back, credit to them, massive comebacks. Cal game was one that looked like they could have lost at home. The offense has been spiraling out of control, so where exactly are they? I know where they aren't, and they aren't in the top 25, so they got some work to do with Clemson coming in here next week. Penn State won, so they're moving up to number 4 in the AP poll. They'll probably move to 5 in the college football rankings, so that will change maybe the position they're in when it comes to the college football playoff. That's if they continue to win out. And one thing about James Franklin, he may not win the big games against Ohio State, but he beats everyone he's supposed to beat, and he did again this weekend against Washington. So we'll talk about that. Penguins are home to Dallas tomorrow night. Tristan Jarry has been recalled. Conditioning program is over, so what happens now? They have 3 goalies. Who would you go to tomorrow, and how badly do you want to see Tristan Jarry? They need to see him play well up here, and I wouldn't be surprised if it starts tomorrow, although Bloomquist is coming off a good performance. So much to talk about, so little time. 412-575-2600. Call us, air your opinions right here, right now. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call on KDKA+. Our GMC Sierra tweet of the night comes from the NFL on CBS, and it pertains to Russell Wilson. You can see since Mike Tomlin has gone to him as their quarterback, 3-0, 737 passing yards, 6 passing touchdowns, only 1 interception plus a rushing touchdown, and a very healthy 105.9 passer rating. So the Steelers now will do a lot of their work against teams in their own division starting Sunday against the Ravens, who won this week against the Bengals on Thursday Night Football. That was sort of a controversial ending also because the Bengals elected to go for 2 instead of kick the extra point and force overtime potentially. So they lost. They're 4-6. It's a big stretch for all these teams. And it'll be captured on Hard Knocks on the NFL's production of that on all of these division teams. First time ever they've done that. All right, let's go to the phone lines at 412-575-2600. And Michael in Beaver Falls joins us first. Hello, Michael.
Hey, Bob, you look pretty sharp in that suit. Your voice sounds real good.
That's getting better, Michael. It's still not 100%, but I appreciate it. What's up?
I would just like to remind Cassidy, Smooth, Susie Cool, Andrew New, thanks for sticking with the Steelers. And by the way, you and Chris were very close. We are on the way to the Super Bowl.
All right, Michael. Yeah, a lot of people think that. The betting odds have changed. And it's whittling down. So if you're going to make a bet on the Steelers to win the Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl, odds are not going to be as significant as they were at the beginning of the season, which stands to reason because at the beginning of the season, nobody really knew what this team was going to be with a whole new quarterback room, new players coming in, a new offensive coordinator. But so far, things are starting to gel, and their defense has been very good, and they were again today. And I think the most impressive thing about this defense was they kept Jaden Daniels in the pocket. They did not let him escape. There were not many design runs. He only rushed the ball, I think, 3 times in the entire game, and a lot of that was out of necessity. So the Steelers did a good job making it difficult for him to get out. And they wanted to see if he could beat him with the arm in the pocket, and he could have. There were some drops today. I thought he made some pretty good throws as well, but the Steelers largely accomplished what they wanted to accomplish. It's a young quarterback. They're going to learn. The one thing that they may not know is how to win games like they did today. They had a 10-point lead, and they let it fritter away, and there were some things they probably could have done differently, but including the end. I mean, when that young defensive lineman jumps offside, I mean, that's something you can tell me, well, he's a young player in the NFL, but they teach that throughout every level of football. You're not supposed to jump. You're supposed to understand that they're not going to really run a play, and the Steelers really had no intention of running a play. Zach Frazier pretty much confirmed that to Chris Adamski in the locker room afterwards, and so they just wanted to bait him, and they took the bait, and they jumped offside. Otherwise, the Steelers would have punted, and then there was time for Washington, even though they had expired all 3 of their timeouts, to move into field goal range and potentially win the game. So that never happened. Good, smart play by the veteran like Russell Wilson, and they were disciplined. Washington was not. Mike in Uniontown is up next. Hello, Mike. Welcome to the Sports Call. What's up?
Yeah, Bob, always good talking to you. That running back, is his name Patterson? Is
Cordero.
Running back?
Mm-hmm.
My question is this. I know they got 2 good running backs, but don't you think they could use him more so, and why do they use him so sparingly? Okay, I'm going to hang up and listen to you.
All right, Mike. Thank you. Well, actually, he's coming back from an injury. This is his first game in like 4 weeks, so I don't think they had a plan of using him quite a bit. He is a big guy. He's tough to tackle. He has some speed still at his age as 33, so they'll work him in more. You didn't see him a lot today, just as you didn't see really Mike Williams all that much, and it took an injury or at least something that was holding back Calvin Austin on the sideline to get Mike Williams a chance at the end of the game, and he made the most of it. Only had 9 snaps today, but the one that mattered was that 32-yard touchdown. You got to give credit to Russell Wilson on that throw, too. They were coming after him, which I was a little bit surprised. I mean, they're trying to nurse a lead there, and they didn't want to give up a big play, but they left single coverage down the sideline, and Mike Williams got by his man and made the most of that with a 32-yard touchdown. Mark in Pittsburgh is up next. Hello, Mark. What's going on?
Hi, Mike Tomlin only needs 2 more wins in the next 8 games to be assured a winning season. I just want to get your take on that. Thank you very much.
We've come to expect that, and that's, quite frankly, that's a fait accompli for me. I think that's going to be accomplished easily. He has bigger fish to fry, like winning a division, getting a home playoff game, at least one, and I think that's very important. They have to win playoff games, and it would help if they're at home, although the way the Steelers and their fans follow this team all over the place, and there are so many transplanted Pittsburghers throughout, people will make a point to get there and get tickets like they did today in Washington. Another, and it wasn't a takeover, but it was certainly well documented. There were a lot of people there, and Mike Tomlin always appreciates that when he sees that kind of support on the road. So the Steelers now, again, have the Ravens. And this is a team, I was talking to Chris Hoke after the game about this team. It's a little bit of a different Raven team. Number one, they're not as good defensively, so that's a check mark to the Steelers. Number two, Lamar Jackson is better than he's been. This version of him not only features a guy who can run, and he's not running as much because he's very effective in the pocket right now. His passing down the field has really improved since he first came into this league, so that's the difference. They also have a running back named Derrick Henry, who's a game changer for any team that he's on. He is just running at a tremendous rate right now. He's pushing 1,900 yards if this rate continues, maybe 2,000 on the year. He already has, I think, 12 rushing touchdowns. I mean, he's been terrific, and he's a hard guy to stop. He doesn't miss a lot of time. They're going to rely on him, not to mention some of their weapons. 2 very good tight ends. They got some Zay Flowers is going to be tough to cover. It will be interesting to see Deontay Johnson, what sort of role he has in this game. He hasn't been targeted all that much. He only has like 1 catch over there since they acquired him from Carolina. But that's going to be a really good test. But again, check mark for me is the Steelers defensively. They are better by far, I think, than the Ravens defensively. And I think if it gets to a case where you have to outscore them, it may be a bit easier against this Ravens defense versus what they had in the past. Alan in Shadyside is our next caller. Hello, Alan. How are you?
Good.
Good.
I just have 2 comments about the Steelers. The first is I think that Porter is overrated. And second, I think that Jones is not a good enough right tackle.
Well, Porter is just, he plays tight coverage, but he grabs a lot. And in the NFL, you can do it a lot and get away with it a lot, but you're also going to be caught from time to time. And today he was. He also was guilty of a face mask penalty. As far as Broderick Jones, I expected more. I'll be the first to tell you that. I still think, though, he's capable of, being what he has to be. And I always thought left tackle was going to be his position. And it may be still, but Dan Moore's playing a pretty good left tackle. You don't hear Dan's name too much, which means he's doing a pretty good job, I think. So the bottom line there is Jones has got to get better. And he wasn't. There were times he's good today, times he wasn't good today. But I expect more, and I think sometimes you got to be patient with players and then see how they go. All right, let's go out to Elizabeth, PA. We have Shark on the line. Shark, what's up?
Hey, Bob, long-time listener. You're the best.
Thank you for calling, man. Appreciate that.
The Steeler game was one of the most enjoyable that I've seen in many years. I'm in my 80s. It would be hard to blame a loss on anybody. Fumble was key, but that was a great game. But I got a question about Pitt. The quarterback, they knocked him out of the game, which ended up helping them. But the 2 plays before that, he missed a guy wide open. Then he got the receiver hurt. But I want your thoughts on the play where they said the officials weren't ready. I've never seen that in my life.
You're right. I never have either, Shark. Never have. And it seemed like, first of all, he has to get out of the way, the official. They were going to snap that ball before they did it. And unfortunately for Pitt, they made a play there. But as it turned out, it didn't count because the officials weren't ready. I've never heard that explanation, but that's not the reason they lost. They lost because they were not very good on either side of the ball. I thought they were out-coached in this game. I thought they were outplayed in this game. I thought they were out-executed in this game. And the Pitt Panthers had to know Virginia came in there with really nothing to lose. They were 4-4, 71st ranked power football team in this country. And Pitt should win, period, especially after the loss they suffered, knowing what lies ahead. Earlier in the day, Miami had lost, upset by Georgia Tech. That opened the door for them potentially to be in an ACC championship game. But by losing, they closed that door right back up and, again, gave all the advantage to Miami. So, it was just a bad loss, really was. And to rebound now against the Clemson team, which I think is favored by 7 points coming to Pittsburgh, that's going to be a tough and tall order, followed by Louisville. All right, let's get one more call before we go to a break, and that would be Bill in Monroeville. What's up, Bill? How are you?
Hey, Bob. I just want to say, man, I enjoy you and Chris.
Thanks.
After the game, it's really good. But the question I wanted to ask you, with the Pittsburgh and Baltimore game being so important and being at 1 o'clock, do you think it'll get flexed until later on in the day?
No, they already you have to do that 2 weeks out, and they decided they're not going to do that. So instead, it's going to be what's the game? There's another game. I don't know if it's Bengals-Rams. There's a game that's not the Steeler game. Steelers will be 1 o'clock. They've already determined that, so you don't have to worry about it. All right, let's take one more before we go to break, and that would be Rick in Robinson Township. Hey, Rick. Rick, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, Bob?
How you doing, man?
Great. I met you decades ago at a Holy Trinity Church in Robinson Township.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, Highfield, what's his name?
Highsmith.
Is his ankle going to be okay?
I mean, we won't get an update there until Tuesday. My guess is that he won't play this coming week. I don't know that for sure. He was seen in crutches leaving the game. So, bottom line is they got to assess it and make the most prudent decision. Nick Herbig is scheduled to come back, and you saw Preston Smith, who came in and had a sack today. So that was a good pickup as well. Good game ball should go to Omar Khan for 2 trades he made. Both of them impacted today's game. We'll take a break, come back with more. Dan in Fort City, hang on. You'll be next as we continue with the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. All right, welcome back. We continue with the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, 412-575-2600. That's the number that Dan in Fort City has just called, and now he's on the air. Hey, Dan.
How you doing tonight?
Good. What's up?
Good. Wanted to check about the first-round draft pick, that tackle. He's been injured. Do you have any idea when he's coming back?
Not this year. Troy Fautanu, he is out, so you don't have to worry about that. That's why they have Broderick Jones at right tackle. And they have some guys. Calvin Anderson had to get in there today when Jones got banged up. So they don't have a lot of depth there, but he'll be back next year, and I think he's going to be a very good player for them. In the meantime, as I said, tomorrow night, the Penguins will take on Dallas, a home game, coming off a win against the Capitals the other day. So Tristan Jarry is back. Had a pretty successful conditioning trip down there. Started 4-0, ended up 4-1, and nice goals against and save percentage. They need those numbers up here in Pittsburgh. Can he do it? Will he do it? They're going to go with 3 goalies right now on the roster, set Matt Nieto down. So the question is, who starts in goal tomorrow? Who should it be? I'd like to see Jarry. I want to throw him right back in and see what he has. I don't know if Mike Sullivan's going to do that or not, but they need him eventually to get back to the goaltender that they pay $28 million to be their man in goal. So we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, join us tonight for the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. That's on every Sunday night, 11:35. It'll be on 11:45, 10 minutes later tonight, with Andrew Filipponi joining me, as well as Chris Muller, the PM team together, and Will Graves, who does great work for the Associated Press. That's all coming up tonight after the late news on KDKA. And thank you for joining me tonight. That's going to do it. We'll do it again tomorrow night and every night. 10:35 is our start time. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I thank you for joining me here tonight. Do it again tomorrow, and I hope you have a great week. Thanks.